welcome back to Document Understanding series powered by AI Accelerator podcast. In our previous episode, we spoke about classic experience in document understanding. We saw what classic DU is, we created a classic project, we also discussed about datasets and data labeling used in the project. In today's episode, however, we'll walk through the same path but in more depth and dimensions. And to help us through this, we have Hemant Kaushik again. Hi Hemant, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. So we were discussing about the classic DU, and let me go through some real example of how it is being done. So before that, I would like to share my screen. So for today, we would be share doing some hands-on with the sample invoices that I have right now for the vehicle demise. We would be using these sample documents to upload to do the data labeling and see how prediction works. So let me quickly upload these documents and we will see. So this is our cloud orchestrator where we have document understanding setup. We created a demo project, and in the data sets we can just upload the files or we can upload the folders. So right now, if I am uploading the files, I can just select the files and I can click on open. So all the files would be uploaded, and meanwhile these files are getting uploaded, so you would be able to see it over here, right? Similarly, these this is how we upload the files into the data set. Now if we are talking about data labeling, right? So this is our data labeling session. We can import our files from any batch. So let's suppose I am uploading some files, so I can create a training batch over here, and I can upload the files into the training batch. So while we are uploading the files on the training batch, DU is very smart. Okay, so it would verify all the files, it do the OCR and check for the duplicates as well. So that would help us to minimize the number of files being duplicated, or we have to do the less work when if we are avoiding the duplicates over here. So you see it's checking the files, and then once it's done, we would be able to see all the files over here.
Okay, that's really impressive. And we know that duplicates increases the bias in the model, so the automatic detection and removal of duplicate files is really helpful for developers.
Yes, and you would be able to see that we have 7 documents. There are 0 duplicates and 0 errors. So once that's done, we can just close this tab, and now we can set up the regular fields and classification fields. I'm selecting only few fields for demonstration purpose, and I can say phone number, and I can just select the type as phone. While we were setting up, you will be able to see this is shortcut, and we can create our shortcut by our own, and we have other properties if it is a multi-line, multi-value, or hidden. So we can configure all those properties over here, and we can just click save. So you see we have right now two fields that is being set up: driver name and phone.
Okay, that's impressive. The amount of flexibility we have in selecting data and the kind of data is really impressive. Now, once we have the field set up, how do we actually train the model to recognize these fields?
So there are two ways of doing the data labeling. One is predict. We can use the predict functionality from UiPath itself, which uses AI gener- and using generative predict. So once we click on predict button over here, it would do the necessary findings.
That's very impressive. And this predict button is only for pre-trained model, or is it also for custom built models which are yet to be trained?
So yes, we are using out of the box models. So we would be able to do the generative predicting, and we would be able to find the assistance using the AI to identify and label the fields. So you would be able to see this driver name is automatically mapped for this field, and phone number is mapped to this field based upon the name that we provided, as well as the field type that we have set.
Okay. Okay, that's really impressive. Now, what if we have to manually label these fields rather than using generative AI? How do we do that?
Right. So for that, let's suppose if we can take another document and as an example. So you see right now both the driver name and phone number is blank, they are not associated with anything. So I can just do this highlighting. So I selected these two fields, and you see this shortcut which is D. So I pressed D on my screen. So that's how it's been mapped. So I just select the field that I want to map. Let's suppose for phone number, I want to select this field with my phone number, and for that phone number we have a shortcut called key that we have set up as P. So as soon as I click P, it's been mapped.
Okay, that's very impressive. And which approach do you recommend, manual labeling or AI assisted one?
So it depends upon our requirement. Obviously, when we are doing predicting by a generative predict from UiPath, obviously it would save our time, and we can use this predictive labeling when we are using an out of the box model. And obviously, if sometimes we our model is not able to identify, we can use the manual approach and highlight and select the fields and do the labeling by our own. But yeah, obviously predictive labeling would save our time when we are having a lot of different documents, different fields.
Okay, perfect. Now, are there any advanced configuration options available for these fields?
Yes, so we can set up custom rules. That means if I go about uh, any field and go to the advanced options, you would see like what is the post processing, what is the scoring, and all those things we can do. And we can set up the advanced functionalities for these fields as well.
Okay, that's really impressive feature. Okay, Hemant. So we saw how to import dataset and label them. Now, how do we use these labeled dataset to train the models? How to actually build a model?
So yeah, we can obviously firstly we need to label all the fields for all the documents, and we can export it from here. We can export based upon the all the label documents or all the schemas, and we can just export it to the AI center. And from the AI center, the labeled data sets would be uh, exported over here in the data sets, which we will be using for running the pipelines. And pipelines is nothing but whatever the data set we have trained, we are using that exported data set on our base ML package, so that it can learn whatever the data labeling we have done, and then it would generate a new minor version of the existing data model that we are used for our ML packages. And once we have done it, our new generated ML model will be available, and when we would be able to create it as ML skill over here based upon the ML model that we have created, and you would be able to see what would be the package versions we would be using, what would be the minor package version, what would be the major package version, and we can create the skill. Now there are few things that we have to keep in mind when we are using or when we are creating an ML skill, if we want to use this outside of our tenant, we can make it public. If not, that is not recommendable because it would open this ML skill to the outside world. So we have to keep all these things in our mind.
Okay, Hemant, so this is all about creating skills, right? Now, is there any limit or a minimum requirement for the number and types of documents that we need to use in a model while building a model?
Yes, obviously, when we are doing the training, it is recommended to have at least 20 to 50 documents if our document is very stable and not very complex. If it is complex, it would be recommended to have around 50 to 100 documents. And if our document is very complex, it would be recommended for at least 100 plus documents to be trained. Now, when we are talking about the number of documents, actually it's not mainly the number of documents, that is not the quantity, but we would also consider about the quality. When I say the quality, so we need to select what images or what document is and documents or the system generated documents we are uploading, whether those are considering all the scenarios, whether they are capturing the edge cases as well, whether they are covering all the fields that we are requiring for. So we would not settle for the quantity but quality and the scope of the process that we are targeting to.
Exactly. So we need our model to be well trained and very precise when it comes to, you know, pushing them to production. We don't want it to be under trained or biased, right? So the
Right,
variety
right.
of documents that you bring here, which covers all the scenarios, is really important. Okay, now we have seen everything about labeling and ML skills. Can you walk us through how to run a pipeline and deploy the ML package?
Sure. So we are having three different type of pipeline runs. That is full pipeline, the train pipeline, and the evaluation run. The output of the three has different uses. So if we are done doing the training pipeline, we are just using the exported data set from the data labeling and trying to upload and use the training to train our model, and it would generate an new ML skill. If we are doing the evaluation, it would use the training that we have provided to evaluate, and it would generate an output in terms of evaluation, that how it is performing now, while the full pipeline does both the things. So when we do the train run, you would see it would be asking us for the ML package, the major package and the minor package, and the input data set for which we have to do the training. But if we do the evaluation run, you would see it is asking for ML package, major package, minor package, and now it's asking for the evaluation data set against which the ML is being evaluated. And if we do the full, it would ask for both the training data set as well as the evaluation data set,
Oh,
and based upon that it would perform. Now you would be able to see there is an option called enable GPU. So this is ML skills, and all those things take a lot of time if our data set is huge. So we can enable this GPU. Obviously is this will attract more AI units to consume, but the process would be more faster than without the GPU.
that's a fantastic insight, Hemant. Thank you so much. And for our listeners, we appreciate your tuning in. This wraps up our episode, but please stay tuned to know more about other features of document understanding. So, thank you so much. See you in
Thank
the
you.
next episode.